Have you guys seen this video going around TikTok? Madison Shemitz is her name, and she's an exceptional human being in every and any way. As is her mom. Her mom was a victim too. Her mom got hurt too, all at the hands of a boy who was too resentful to accept that Madison did not want to be his girlfriend. Madison Shemitz is one of 5 children to her mom, Jackie, and that family is incredibly close-knit. Jackie has always been very supportive and protective of her children. When she was little, Madison earned the nickname Sass from her 5 siblings, but everyone who has described her has said that she was always smiling. She is always smiling, positive, and very determined. She was in high school when this happened, and her life changed forever when she was only a senior. At that time in her life, by all accounts, she was a normal teenager living a normal teenager life surrounded by people who love her. In comes in a boy named Spencer Pearson into her life, a high school football player at her school. Madison and Spencer hit it off, started spending more and more time with each other until they eventually became boyfriend and girlfriend. But it took months, maybe even weeks, for Madison to realize that Spencer was bad news. By the sounds of it, he wasn't only immature and selfish, he was also very, very angry inside. Clearly had a lot of psychological issues going on in his head that he never addressed. Controlling, jealous, mean, all of the things. Madison said that being in a relationship with him made her feel suffocated, trapped, manipulated, and controlled. Their relationship barely lasted 6 months before she wanted out. She knew that she didn't want or need that kind of toxicity in her life. So she broke up with him, but breaking up with Spencer wasn't the end. It was really only the beginning of a living nightmare. By April 4th of 2023, not even 24 hours after their breakup, Spencer was already losing it. And he began flat out stalking her. He was doing anything possible, anything in his power to inconvenience Madison, not only to bother her, but also to scare her. He left notes on her car, he followed her around, created fake social media pages to communicate with her. It got to the point that by May, Madison and her mom were looking into what it would look like to get a restraining order against him because he was showing up everywhere that Madison was with this like evil, dark look in his eyes. At one point, Jackie reached out to Spencer's mom saying, "Look, something is wrong with your son. He's really scaring my daughter. He needs to leave her alone, and he also probably needs some sort of help dealing with the issues that he has." And Spencer's mental health was alarming. He was even hospitalized for 5 days post-breakup because he was clearly unwell. Yet after he was released, he just went right back to stalking Madison. June 3rd of 2023 was a Saturday. That day, Madison had hung out with one of her friends at the beach, and afterwards, they decided they want to get something to eat. And that day, Madison just had a weird gut feeling, like something was off. She kind of felt something bad coming on. And I hate to say it, but she was right. But because she was feeling so uneasy, both Madison and her friend asked their moms to join them for lunch. And they all met up at Mr. Chubby's Wings. They chose a table, ordered food, and they were sitting down to enjoy their meal when she saw him. When Madison first showed up at Chubby, she was looking around trying to see if she could find Spencer because by that point, it was routine almost. She was constantly walking on eggshells, looking over her shoulder because he was always there. She didn't see him, so they ordered, sat down to eat, and they didn't know it yet, but Spencer was about to walk right past them on purpose to make his presence known, which is so scary that 2 moms being there, one of them being Madison's mom, who was literally sitting right next to her. That didn't stop Spencer. He wanted all 4 of them to see that he was there. Immediately, the 4 of them said, "No, we're not doing this." They informed the restaurant about the whole situation, kind of just looping them in, and then they got up and they walked out. Madison later said, quote, "Never in a million years did I think I would never end up making it to my car," end quote. Surveillance footage captured what happened next. As Madison was walking towards her car, she heard a deafening scream behind her coming from her mom. She was trying to warn her. Spencer Pearson had sprinted out of the restaurant and was running full speed at Madison in front of everyone in daylight in the parking lot. He sprinted to her until he reached her, and then he started stabbing her 17 times. He stabbed Madison 17 times. And the only reason why he stopped was because Madison's mom, Jackie, had sprinted over to stop him, and he had turned his attention onto her and began stabbing her as well. Madison would later recount remembering every single second of those horrific moments, the terror of seeing him running towards her, falling to the ground, and feeling every single injury. All 17 to her body, to her chest, to her arms, to her back. She felt everything until she didn't, because then she lost feeling from her legs down, and that terrified her. So like I said, without hesitation, without even thinking of her own safety, her mom had thrown herself at Spencer, pulling him off Madison. He stabbed her too, in the forehead, hand, and leg. The muscles in her hands were severed from the bone because of the injuries. Across the parking lot, a 22-year-old man called Kennedy Armstrong had just pulled into the parking lot with a friend when he heard the screams, and Kennedy, without hesitating, ran as fast as he could across the parking lot to pull Spencer away and tackle him to the ground. In the middle of the struggle, he was also stabbed in the hand, the wound severing an artery and causing nerve damage, but that random stranger running over to help saved not only Madison's life, but probably her mom's as well. Think about how much worse this could have ended if Kennedy had not been a hero and put himself in danger in order to help, and also if Jackie wouldn't have intervened. A flood of 911 calls were made by everyone who was witnessing the horrific crime scene, and first responders arrived as soon as they could. Madison was rushed into emergency surgery at Memorial Hospital in Jacksonville. She had 2 chest tubes inserted, and doctors worked frantically to save her life. Her mom was also taken into surgery. Madison Madison was paralyzed from the chest down, and she knew it. She knew it when she was lying down on the floor outside in the parking lot in the crime scene when she could not feel her legs, and she knew it now when she was lying in the hospital bed, unable to feel anything. The doctors told her that she might not ever walk again, but lying in that hospital bed, Madison made herself a promise that she would walk again, that she would walk at graduation, and that she would eventually walk into that courtroom to face him. Throughout the following months, Madison spent a lot of time at the Brooks Rehabilitation Center in Jacksonville undergoing both PT and OT, and the fight in her was so inspiring, not only to her doctors, her therapists, everyone around her, but also to other patients, other victims. She was working so hard because she had a promise to keep to herself. This is a quote from her therapist, quote, "No matter what I ask her to do, she is willing and ready to put in the work for it. Whether she's tired, emotionally, physically, she's still just, sure, Sydney, let's go, let's do it." Phenomenal work ethic, phenomenal character. On June 1st of 2024, just under 1 year after the attack, Madison Shemitz walked across the stage at the UNF Arena to receive her high school diploma. She got a standing ovation, students, teachers, families, staff, all rising to their feet and clapping for her, many of them with tears in their eyes. I guarantee that moment is one that she will hold in her heart for the rest of her life. But she wasn't done because she still needed to face Spencer Pearson, and as hard as it was, she knew that it was something that she had to do. The first time Madison spoke publicly about her story, this is what she said, quote, "As many of you or all of you know, last summer, my entire world came to a stop. On Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, I was the victim of a violent crime that left me paralyzed from the chest down. When I was at my lowest, you all were there providing comfort and support and expertise that ultimately saved my life," end quote. I don't think a day went by in those 538 days plus of recovery in which Madison didn't thank everyone around her for all of the love and support that she was receiving. Their community really came together, really gathered to cheer her on. It was really beautiful to see. Spencer Pearson was arrested and charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 1 count of aggravated battery causing serious bodily injury. On June 10th of 2024, he changed his plea from not guilty to guilty, and on November 22nd of 2024, 538 days after the attack, Madison walked into that courtroom with a cane. She walked over to the witness stand and she told her story. She spoke in detail about the trauma that she began enduring, not only beginning June 3rd, but during her relationship with Steven and the stalking that followed after the breakup. She described the 538 days of torment, of constantly reliving the attack, of the nightmares that she would have night after night after night. But she also talked about how she wasn't going to let this define her. She talked about her friends and family and how thankful she was for them. She thanked all of her doctors and her PT and OT therapists, and she said a big thank you to both her mom and Kennedy for being the heroes that saved her life. 20-year-old Spencer was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Kennedy has become like family to Madison and Jackie, and that makes me so happy to say. All 3 of them have obviously created this strong bond between them, and they care so deeply for each other. Madison is now in college. She's attending Florida Atlantic University, and she is pursuing a degree in criminal justice with a minor in social welfare. She has done so many great things, one of those being partnering with the One Love Foundation, and she has spoken publicly numerous times telling her story, so you guys should definitely look her up on social media. And Jackie, her mother, was awarded the Carnegie Medal in September of 2024 for her heroism. That is all for today's video. Thank you for spending time with me today and for listening to Madison's story. Go make sure that you check her out. Hope you guys are having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day. Make somebody happy, and I will see you in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.